Russians did some very cynical things with remote viewing. If that's what you're talking about, that's all I would know about.
Just if DNA remains in contact with the individual and you stress the person, and instantaneously there's a response, and instantaneously, faster than light.
Mm-hmm.
The other part of it is the stresses could be any kind of emotional stress. The strongest response, I understand, is by love. That's all.
Well, if you've seen the Carillion photography where the finger touches the electronic photography and the person kisses and the sparks come out, yeah, maybe. Yes, sir.
One of the investigating officers at Roswell said he poked his head into the ship, and when he looked inside, it appeared to be much larger inside.
There you go.
Now, what did your father say about that?
Exactly. Yes.
Is that a time-space kind of connection there somehow?
Yeah. Let me go on to the door here. The door on this craft looks very unaerodynamic. There's been tests run on it. Boy, is that thing, is not even a seam there when you do fluid dynamic over that. Very interesting craft. Just magnificent. Yes, ma'am.
How did you know that the craft had to be sent back somewhere? What gives that information?
You know something? Yes. How do I know the craft needs to be sent back again? That's a good question. I just know it. My father will say that something has been in the family for a long time before his father and his mother, and all the way back there has been something in the family. I guess it's genetic. I can't explain it in any other way except for I can't recall my father ever telling a lie, and he told me it needs to be done again. I would tell you this: my father never told anybody in his realm what I'm telling you all now about the time. Von Braun and Olbernat discussed time with my dad, but not in the detail that I'm telling you now. Why? Ask my wife when I was sitting at Roswell in a table with Whitley Schreiber and many others, and he turned and he says, "You ready to build the craft yet?" And I didn't even talk about the craft. That's how the man knows. And he turns and he says, "Are you ready to build the craft yet?" He says, "There's a lot of corporations out there waiting for you." My face turned red. I didn't know what to say. And I'm usually not caught that way because if you want to hear the truth, I'm going to tell you. I turned to my wife because I said, "Save me." She turns, she thinks a minute and says, "This is not your time, it's your father's time. This is now my time." That's how I know.
How do you know that there'll be a consequence for not sending it back?
Because we live in an altered timeline. Think about it. If you didn't have the technology from this ship now that my father and General Trudeau so graciously put out to you, where would you be now? Take away the integrated circuit. Take away the laser. Take away. You'd be equal to Russia. You'd be beat by. They had us beat. I mean, let's just face it. Any military man in here knows that they had us beat. Does anybody dispute that? Okay.
If you don't send it back, then they don't have the technology?
Who?
The people that originally brought it here.
No, the people that originally brought it here is us. We send it back. It's a wonderful experiment that unites us all. Don't you see that? Or I don't understand. Yeah. We're in an altered timeline, to try to explain it better. That timeline, because of nature, will go back. If you go past the point to where the ship was built, the timeline's going to go back. Are you going to know all of a sudden that you didn't build the ship? I don't think so. I just think all of a sudden you're going to have the things that you don't want. Yes, sir.
I'm curious, you started off speaking about Rotan, the scale of deposits.
Yes.
This graph looks very similar to the current Spaceship One from the X-Prize.
My father left Bert a big list of information. I had to hide it in the attic for 3 years because of our government stupidity. I still haven't delivered it to him. So if McDonald made this sketch, and my dad let it well be known in Roswell. I think we're getting feedback here. My dad let it well known in Roswell, that this was the closest rendition of what he saw and what he had to report. So remember, my dad had 9 clearances above top secret. He literally was privy to everything during the administrations that he was in. Everything. I know this is maybe that you're not getting the point here. All of a sudden, you walk forward here, stand at this podium, you're in my father's shoes, you know everything. You're the guy that invented the cover-up. He went to Eisenhower. Eisenhower said, what do we do with these things? While he was president. What do we do, Phil? Penetrate our airspace, Dad says. Do nothing. We're good old soldiers. We're not politicians. So the cover-up starts. But how does it start? CIA jumps on it. FBI jumps on it. Something for them to do. It wasn't meant to be that way. My dad says the government is so inefficient that it covers itself up. I don't know what to do with you. It's feeding back here, I think. Yes, ma'am. Wait a minute, just a second.
I greatly appreciate your references to this being a loving universe. I'm very, very glad that you said this. And this gentleman who spoke just before, right behind me, mentioned the word love. There are groups that feel that, yes, you can change your DNA with love and effort and the right kind of action and feeling and so on.
Yes, ma'am.
There are various ones. Of course, I'd love to have your comment on that. And then there's one other quick question.
Okay, that comment is, yes, there is faith healing, and yes, it works.
I'm
And
talking about the DNA itself.
you're changing DNA itself, yes. Yeah. We're changing, we're responsible for our own evolution. If we want to look like a little gray creature, which I don't think is too desirable, we probably could look like that. But I think maybe we'll look like we'll all be, tall, upright, and handsome. I think that's the way we want to go.
My other question is, what is your opinion about the groups of people that are known to have disappeared off the planet and no one has seen them? Sometimes it's a village, and sometimes it's a couple who goes for a walk in the woods, and that is it.
Ma'am, you know something? Don't even dwell on it. That's negative. Forget it.
I feel it.
If it doesn't happen to you, consider yourself blessed.
I'd just like to say,
Yes, sir. Excuse me, ma'am.
I had a question about the craft going back. Is this a solution for us to build this craft because there's an event in the future that the people of 2032 want us to bypass and save us from that?
You know something? Yes. I'm not sure if I understand your question all the way, so tell me if this answer works for you. Just imagine, you really have to dwell on this one. What if there was no Roswell crash and other crashes? What if do you realize what the technology that we have from that craft does for us every single day? You got a cell phone in your pocket, you're going to go to the hospital. My dad was dying and his stomach was full of blood. The doctor came that worked on cloning with my dad, and he says to me, your father is going to die by morning. You know what? All of a sudden, went back to the hospital. Now listen to this closely because it's the absolute truth, and I can't explain all. This thing's dying. I'm a technical guy. I should be able to fix things like that. I'll fix it. My father made a lot of reports and a lot on the internet that he got a new heart. Well, that was what he thought he should say at the time. The doctor put a device in his cavity chest, and it was round and had a bunch of tubes coming out from it. Never connected a tube, and this device saved his life. It stops bleeding, all bleeding within operations. I think I can go get it. I think the doctor would probably give it to me since I've been blabbing about it. Where's it from? From the future. Now, let's talk about something real quick. There's two types of time travel. There's the time travel of the ship and a machine, or a living machine. There's also time travel phenomena that is maybe installed in our universe on purpose. And we call this, for lack of better